These kind of warnings go out routinely, but there's nothing routine about this particular one to me. This one really resonates with me for two reasons. One is there's been about 50 people in the last 12 months who've been arrested in the United States for being radicalized by ISIS, wanting to go fight there or wanting to conduct an attack here. I don't want to tell Americans what to do or what not to do, but Nora, I wouldn't be surprised if we're sitting here a week from today talking about an attack over the weekend in the United States. That's how serious this is.
All right, and that is that has a lot of gravitas. And joining us now is Congressman Peter King, chairman of the subcommittee on counterterrorism, member of the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence. And Congressman, always good to talk to you. That is chilling that Mike Morell's saying on CBS that a week from today, which was yesterday, he said it, we might be very well sitting here talking about a terrorist attack that occurred in the United States. You're privy to the information. What are we talking about?
Steve, thanks for having me on. Yeah, Mike Morell, I mean, I haven't always agreed with him, and generally he's very reluctant to come forward and talk about possible threats. He's not that type person. So when he comes out and says this, that really adds to what others, including myself, believe. I've been aware of this now for about the last 2 or 3 weeks anyway, about the possibility of, the real possibility of something being attempted on the 4th of July. I mean, there's a number of things here. One, just different intelligence that's been picked up talking about the 4th of July. But you add some of the specifics here. In the last just week to 10 days, there's been 5 ISIS operatives arrested in New York City. Now, that's not coincidental. It's one thing to say someone's a lone wolf. You don't find 5 lone wolves operating together at the same time. There has to be a level of cooperation, of coordination. You saw the attacks last Friday in Lyon and Tunisia and Kuwait. 3 attacks within a matter of hours, at least 2 of them involving ISIS operatives. You have what happened in Texas last, I guess it's 2 months ago now, what happened in Boston I guess about 3 or 4 weeks ago now. I bring this up because ISIS is playing an active role here in the United States, and when you just combine the intelligence that's been picked up, and I can't go into that how we got it, and then you find the 5 people in New York, and it's been said publicly, there's others that they're looking for. You know, the NYPD is very involved in this with the FBI and the Joint Terrorism Task Force. This is for real. And by the way, this comes barely 2 years after President Obama announced that Al-Qaeda was on the ropes, and we were back to a pre-9/11 defensive mode.
But Congressman, you said it's been announced. So the FBI and NYPD and counterterrorism are actively looking for who or what?
There's other ISIS operatives. They've arrested 5 so far, and there's others that are now
in New York City. In
the New York City region, yes. When I say New York, that could be New York City, Long Island, Northern New Jersey.
Right. All right.
That whole metropolitan New York.
And so when you say you're afraid, and Morell says he's afraid, I mean, are we talking about them shooting somewhere, going into a public place and shooting? Are we talking about a bomb, like you mentioned, the marathon? What do you fear?
I would be more concerned with a bomb, an improvised explosive device. One of the places that was raided last week, they did find explosives. We found ISIS people, certainly in the last month. There's been other ISIS operatives arrested with explosives in their homes or apartments. And
are you worried about the New York City region, as you described, specifically, or is this a countrywide threat?
No, it's countrywide. My understanding is the FBI is going to be opening up different bases around the country over the next several days. No, it's countrywide. It's I think more specific toward New York, and then we have a significant number. But no, there's an ISIS operative arrested in Columbus, Ohio, just about 3 or 4 weeks ago. Comey, the FBI director, has said that there's active investigations of Islamist terrorism going on in all 50 states. So no, this could happen almost anywhere. New York is always the #1 target, as we saw with Boston, and it can happen anywhere, and we have to be on our guard. That's why when I saw the report in the New York Times, which, by the way, is a terrible left-wing rag, but they had a front-page story quoting some reports saying that the police are almost like twice as worried about attacks from white supremacists as they are from ISIS. How anyone can say that? We're talking about Al-Qaeda and Islamist terrorists, including ISIS and Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula, they're capable of killing thousands of people. I mean, there was an attempted explosives attack in the New York subways a few years ago. If that had succeeded, you would have had hundreds, maybe up into thousands of people killed, certainly in the hundreds.
Congressman, again, I don't want to pin you down here, and this will be the last question on this, but you have more of a fear of the fireworks, the Macy's fireworks, where there are tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of people, or somewhere where a much softer target?
Well, I'm not aware of intelligence on the fireworks, but that to me gives them the opportunity. Just as a layman, I'd be concerned about that. But there's so many targets.
Yeah.
There's so many soft targets when you're living in a free society, which is why intelligence is so important to stop it before they get there.
All right. I want you to listen to Christie from his announcement today. He's now running for president. Let's watch.
Both parties have stood in a corner and held their breath and waited to get their own way. Both parties have led us to believe that in America, a country that was built on compromise, that somehow now compromise is a dirty word. If Washington and Adams and Jefferson believed compromise is a dirty word, we'd still be under the crown of England.
All right, your reaction to Christie announcing and his continued, in my view, since the speech at the convention and then the Reagan Library, trashing both parties.
Yeah, I guess Christie is trying to run as a pragmatist, a person who gets things done. But listen, it's okay to criticize both parties, but as a Republican, there's no doubt that 90% of the blame goes to the Democrats. I mean, there's things that each of us could find fault with Republicans on. I mean, Tea Party people criticize Republicans. Others like myself criticize Republicans. However, 90% of the time we should be in agreement, and I would never make a speech where I'm making it equal between Democrats and Republicans.
Yeah.
I mean, the Democrats are what Nancy Pelosi and President Obama and Harry Reid are doing to Washington. There's no way you can blame Republicans for coming anywhere near that. So, to me, it's okay to take a little bit of a shot at Republicans. The bottom line is, though, that if you're running for president, the main culprits here are definitely the Democrats, not for political reasons, for ideological reasons, for philosophical reasons,
agree with you.
and for honest reasons.
Are you running?
I'm still looking. I'll probably have to be deciding in the next week or so. I really haven't made it. I have not made a final decision, but I've been looking at it and getting a good response. But again, it takes an awful lot of money and an awful lot of time. So
would you support Christie if you don't run?
No, I'm not ready to support anyone right now.
Okay.
I would say probably of the ones who have announced, I would say probably Jeb Bush and Marco Rubio would come
fair
close.
enough. Congressman, have a safe 4th of July. Thank you so much, sir.
Terrific. Thank
All right.
you. Thank you, Steve.
Tom
Bye.
DeLay is next, folks. Don't go away.